Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to Through Empress Eyes. Here you can find channeled messages, intuitive guidance, or simple reflections reminding you of who you are and your power. Remember that any and all of my messages are always going to be a confirmation of what you are feeling, so please take what resonates and leave the rest. Your inner guidance system is always the best one to trust. Okay, so come sit with me for a minute. I want to talk to you today about something I don't think gets said enough. About what actually draws your person in. Not the version we're taught to perform, the real thing underneath all of that. So many of us were raised on this idea that attraction is something you have to earn, that you have to say the right thing, look a certain way, chase a little, prove your worth, choosing. And I want to say gently, that's not actually how it works. Not at the level that matters, anyway. Real attraction, the kind that lasts, the kind that feels like coming home, isn't about performing for someone. It's energetic. It's about who you actually are underneath all the noise, and whether you're letting that version of you breathe out into the world, or keeping her tucked away because you're scared of being too much or not enough or just seen. I think so many of us learned somewhere along the way that love was something you had to chase down and hold onto tightly, or it would slip away. Maybe you watched that dynamic growing up. Maybe you lived in a past relationship like that. And so your nervous system learned this lesson early, that if you want to be chosen, you have to work for it. You have to be a little smaller, a little more agreeable, a little more impressive. And I want to sit with you in this for a second before we move and go any further. Because I don't think this gets said with enough tenderness. None of that was ever actually your fault. You were doing your best with what you were taught. But I do want to gently invite you today to consider that there might be a different way, a quieter way, a way that doesn't cost you so much of yourself. So, let me tell you a few things I keep sensing about what actually pulls him in. Not the surface stuff, but the real deep stuff. The first thing is you being sure of yourself, not loud about it, not performing confidence, just quietly, steadily knowing your own worth without needing him or anyone to confirm it for you first. I know that's easier said than done. So many of us carry around this quiet little voice that says, I'm not enough, not pretty enough, not successful enough, not interesting enough. Whatever it is for you, whatever that statement is for you. And here's the tender truth. Every time you soften that voice, every time you choose to believe I am enough exactly as I am right now, that shift is felt. Not seen necessarily, but felt. And it's deeply, quietly magnetic. I want you to think about the people in your own life who make you feel most at ease. Chances are it's not the person trying to impress you the hardest. It's the person who seems settled in their own skin, who isn't performing, isn't fishing for reassurance. They are just who they are, plainly, without apology. That ease is contagious. It gives everyone around them permission to relax too. That's what your own self assuredness does for him, even if neither of you could fully explain why it feels so good to be near. The second thing is presence. Being able to actually be here in this moment instead of living 3 steps ahead in your worries or replaying old hurts on a loop. I know that's hard too, especially if you've been hurt before. The mind wants to protect you by staying alert, staying braced. But when you can settle into trusting that you're going to be okay, that things are unfolding the way they need to, that groundedness is one of the most attractive things a person can offer another. Not because it's flashy, because it's rare. I think presence gets a little misunderstood sometimes. It's not about being blissed out or unbothered all the time. That's not actually realistic. And honestly, it's not even the goal. It's more about being willing to actually feel whatever is happening right now, instead of mentally escaping into worry or planning or thinking about old wounds. When you're with someone who's truly present, even in silence, it feels different. It feels like being met. And I think that's part of what makes it so magnetic. It's rare to feel truly met by another person. So when you offer that, it stands out immediately. Even if he can't quite name what it is he's responding to. And the third thing I want to gently bring up might sting a little, but I say it with so much love. It's about receiving. Can I ask you something? When someone compliments you, what do you actually do with it? Do you brush it off? Deflect it? Explain why it's not really true? I want you to notice that without judging yourself for it. Because how you receive a small compliment often mirrors how you receive love, help, softness. And here's the thing, you don't have to chase what's meant for you. You don't have to prove that you deserve it or work yourself into exhaustion trying to earn it. You're allowed to simply open your hands and let it land. That's not passive. That's actually one of the bravest things you can practice. I think a lot of us confuse being low maintenance with being a poor receiver. And those aren't actually the same thing. You can be someone who needs very little and still struggle deeply to let people give you anything at all. If that's you, I don't think it's because you're ungrateful or difficult. I think it's because somewhere along the way, receiving started to feel unsafe. Like it came with strings attached, or debt, or the risk of being let down. So you built a quiet little wall around it without even meaning to. Practicing receiving again gently is one of the softest forms of self trust there is. It's saying, I believe good things are allowed to come in without me earning them first. And that belief, more than almost anything else, is what opens the door to the kind of connection you actually want. There's one more thing I want to share with you before we close today. I keep sensing the word softness, not weakness, but rather softness. And I think so many of us armor up in relationships because we're scared of being hurt again. And that armor can look like being guarded or independent to a fault or always needing to have it together. But I don't think that's actually what draws the right person closer. What draws him closer is your willingness to let your guard down, even just a little, even when it feels risky, not recklessly and not with everyone, just with the people who actually earned that access. The kind of softness isn't weakness at all. It takes so much more courage to stay open than it does to stay closed. And that courage, that's deeply, quietly felt by the people around you, even when they can't fully explain why they feel so drawn in. So, if you take nothing else from this today, I want you to hear this. You don't have to shrink or perform or chase to be worthy of a love like that. The most magnetic thing you can do is simply keep coming home to yourself. Keep softening back toward yourself over and over every time you notice you've drifted into performing instead of being. The rest tends to find its way to you from there. Well, lovely souls, that's what I'm feeling, and I feel like this reading is coming to a close now. I hope that this has helped you in some way, giving you a confirmation of what your intuition has been telling you. I truly appreciate those who like, share, subscribe, and comment, as it helps me tune into your specific energy in future readings. Until next time, be safe, be well, be prosperous.